Welcome back, listeners of the Randomness of Nothing podcast. I've always tried to bring interesting guests and people from different walks of life, of entrepreneurs, business owners. This person that I have today is the pinnacle of success and continues to strive to better heights. I have Dame Clarissa Burt, former model, entrepreneur, best-selling author, and all-around good person. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to take note of our backgrounds. Yeah. This is the clutter that comes with being a little older, like people say, oh, you've done so much in your life. I'm like, I've been around a lot longer than you, Like I've been around a really long time. So that's what you get when you got, when you've got a few years on everybody else.
Well, first of all, what's funny though, is like when people sit back like and say things about people's age, like you do realize that they were young once, right? Like let's full disclosure, like they were a kid, right? They were in their 20s. So anybody who's listening, you're not going to be 22 forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you won't be 22 forever. Although 22 is great. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you, and I know this is going to sound so cliche. I feel like I'm 22. I don't know. I mean, people, it's like, oh, come on, get over yourself. No, I really do.
Yeah.
I may not look 22, but I do feel 22.
Yeah, you have the energy, you have the passion, you have the convictions. You wake up every day with clarity and purpose. Absolutely.
Yes, I do, sir. Yes, I do.
So you're from Philadelphia. I don't think I've ever in my life seen a biography that reads like this. From Philadelphia to 18 and, goes to the Wilmina modeling agency, was actually insecure and was encouraged by friends to model. And then goes to Italy. And then, I mean, tell me all about it. This is crazy.
Yeah, so I started out little Chrissy Burt, in a row home in Philly, right? And I just had a dream. Well, my first dream was, the first thing that happened to me, I don't know if I have the picture around, was I became Mary Poppins in the kindergarten play. And after I got done singing Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and I got my first standing ovation, I was hooked. I was hooked. And I knew that in some way, shape, or form, the stage and a microphone was going to be part of my life.
Beautiful.
And that's the way it is. That's the way it's been. So fast forward, of course, I had to graduate high school, but once I did, I was in New York City. We were living in Jersey at the time. Mm-hmm. We had moved, and then I just went, bright lights, big city, here I come. Got taken by Wilhelmina, accepted, started working there. And then they said, your look is really more of a European look. Let's send you over there. And I said, twist my arm. And where am I going? I'm going where? To Paris and Rome and Milan. So I had the time of my life. And quite frankly, I stayed there about 30 years.
That's amazing.
I stayed there for a while. So from modeling, it went into to the piece where I did like 18 different movies. One of them was The Neverending Story Part 2. You might be too young for that.
I'm not. No. I wanted to say that. Like I looked you up, right? Yeah. So as soon as I was looking you up, I'm like, I remember you as a kid because you scared the living crap out of me in that role.
Yeah. I know. So funny. I have pictures all over, and I'm trying to show you. Like for example, I never do this, but I'm going to show you. Watch.
No, you're good. You're good. This is what the show's all about.
Show you. Watch. So I have these are like my vision boards, right? So there's like Springsteen and Bocelli, and there is Lionel Richie, and then you see down at the bottom there's me, and then Angelina Jolie. She's green.
Yeah.
So somebody did that. Somebody made that and put it out on social media and said like, who did it better? Who was the better mean queen? And it's so cool. And so I love being surrounded by these things because I have two vision boards. Yeah. One is a physical vision board and the other one is a spiritual vision board. Mm-hmm. So I make sure that I keep everything, very grounded and in a state of constant gratitude. Quite really, I do because I wake up every day. I go, God, thank you for another day. Universe, Absolutely. Thank you so much. What am I supposed to be? Who can I serve today? Mm-hmm. And that's if I wake up and I'm not in a rotten mood.
Right.
Because, it rarely happens. But we are all human. I say that
you stub your toe, then you stub your toe, then next thing you know, you go out, you got a flat tire, then next thing you know, like somebody cuts you off in traffic. And it all of a sudden, I don't know if you ever seen like the Michael Douglas movie Falling Down, right? So
all the things. And I say that just to sort of, just to remind, myself and I'm not trying to say I'm perfect in any way, shape or form, but I do try my best. I want to be a better person tomorrow than I am today.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the mantra that I live by. Yeah.
It's living proof because of all the things. I mean, like, I obviously I want you to speak about your accomplishments, but I'm reading this, right? You're the first American to present American TV at the Kremlin. Like that seems like an out of body. ahead.
The wall fell. Let me tell you this. The wall fell in Berlin in November, I think it was November 22nd, maybe? 1989.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it in Rome. It's all over TV. I remember watching it. And it was a really pinnacle moment for the world, really. And then in January, we found out that we were going to go to Russia with a designer. We meaning I was a part of the troupe that went over as a show host. Mm-hmm. So it was Laura Biagiotti, who was a designer, and she was going to be on the big stage in Russia, which meant at the Kremlin, and that there's a theater inside, TV station, a theater inside the Kremlin. So I was there to take in Italian, translate it to English, and then the woman that was next to me was Russian.
Wow.
She spoke English. So she took the English, translated it into Russian so that the Russian, viewers would be able to understand.
That's amazing.
So I was on the stage and, therefore on television in Russia as the very, very, very first American that ever was, in that space.
That's insane, right? And full disclosure, I was like in second grade when the Berlin Wall came down, right? When you hear about history and stuff like that. Now, did you have any Italian? Did you speak Italian before you went to Europe, or did you learn it when you were? Oh my gosh! Holy.
So I'm 1,000% Irish Catholic, and so we grew up, in Philly and Jersey. There were a lot of Italians around, but none of them spoke Italian. It was like, guys, what's? So I knew ciao and arrivederci, because I think everybody knows those two words, course, right? Yeah. So, when you first get over there and you're young and you're modeling, you go to the model dinners and there's lots of people around and all the things. And you sit at the table and you eat and you just listen. You start to take it in. You're kind of like a sponge. And so you start asking questions. What did that word mean? Because you hear it a lot. Right. There are words you hear all the time. You go, well, what does that mean? Right. And what did that mean? And so word for word, by word by word, of course, they were always the curse words you learned.
That's awesome.
Because, you're like, the curse words, right? And so that's what everybody at the table say. And you're going, what the hell does that mean? They go, it meant shit. Oh, it meant shit. Oh, God. Okay. What did that word mean? That meant damn. That meant damn. And so, so it took about 2 years to put enough of the pieces of the puzzle together to be able to speak.
Beautiful.
And then every day for 30 years, I'd learn a new word or a new conjugation of a verb, because so many conjugations. And by the way, when you think about it, if you try to explain weather and weather to an Italian, or there, and there.
Oh my gosh.
To an Italian. So I can go down the list too, where you go, well, what do you mean? I thought weather meant the climate. Yeah, weather is like, it's another, you can be, so they sound the same, but they mean things, different things. Yeah. Same thing in other languages. So it takes a minute, but I loved every minute of it. And I still, I speak it frequently because I have friends I speak to all day long.
That's absolutely amazing, right? And then, there was no, Rosetta Stone, right? Where you could just talk, you know what I mean?
Oh, there were no computers or internet at the time. Forget that. Yeah. You wanted to send a letter home, you sent it airmail.
Right.
You sent it letter airmail, which meant the paper was paper thin. It didn't weigh as much. Yeah. And you used to go to the post office and they would give you these airmail sheets. Okay. And then, And that was it was called airmail. I don't think they have that anymore. Yeah. But, you'd be able to send across the pond for a lot less money.
Right. That's wonderful. I did not know that information at all. So we're going to get obviously into your entrepreneurial career, but when you were modeling over there and then, you've done so many amazing things, but I want to start, you're knighted in 2022 by the Royal of Constantine. How did that process work itself?
The Sovereign Royal Order of Constantine the Great and St. Helen. And St. Helen was Constantine the Great's mother, which I didn't. I was nominated. I was nominated by someone that I know that was already in the order. And, when you're nominated, it's a lovely, honor. And so, of course, you're not going to say no. Of course not. I will say that, when they give you the title, you use it, infrequently, but it's still something very nice to have. Can you see that white gown over here?
Yes, I can.
That behind my, that is the gown. That's my the manteau, the cape that I got that day.
It's amazing.
And it's lovely. It was a very, very lovely honor again, as I say, and yeah, for which I'm very grateful.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And then you eventually started, I saw you started your own, while you were modeling later on, you started your own pageant as well, too, while you were over there as well, too.
Well, I was actually a licensee of the Miss Universe pageant, and that was under
Okay.
Trump. Yeah,
Okay.
it was Miss Universe. I had the Miss Universe license for 5 years.
Yeah.
And there's a picture back there somewhere of me with one of the girls in Miss Universe. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's not in, I don't know. I can't see. It's back here. Maybe it's not that one. Is it over here? I don't know. There's a picture back there of me.
Oh, you could literally say whatever it was one back there, and I wouldn't know, and I would say that was it.
Yeah, it's that one.
Exactly. It's like, how would I know?
No, that one right there. Wait.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Where is it? One of them is the Pope.
I saw that on your website.
Oh, there he is. He's on that side. He's right there. See how I'm kneeling in front of the Pope right there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw it on your official website. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's also, on the other side, I was young. I was on a mission. I really wanted to see the world. I was alone, I had to make very good and sound decisions because, as you can well see, when these Epstein files came out, there's a guy on there that actually committed suicide. And I say committed suicide, I'm old. And he was a part of one of the modeling agencies that I was with. So, yeah, I mean, I was in the thick of it, but I didn't know it. And I didn't know it because I never went to the parties.
Yeah.
I wasn't a party girl.
Yeah.
I was a little older than the other guy. I didn't even get there until I was 24. See,
that's crazy. That's considered old.
Yeah. I was 20. Well, back in the day, it was still considered. And I looked a little younger than I guess I was. I don't know. But anyway, long story short is I never gave anybody I just didn't give anybody the time, if you will. I didn't go to I wanted to be home. I was a homebody. I didn't want to go to parties and all. Yeah. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go home. And if
you
anybody
looked at it as a job, and then when the job was
complete,
if
you tried it on, the answer was always, yeah, thanks, no, got to go, bye, see ya. I mean, not because it's just the way I was wired, I mean, I just didn't love the boom, 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 and people screaming in your ear. I did love a dance floor, that I will tell you. So I have, that I did, but I didn't go often. And if I did, I went by myself, or I went with the girls and I came home by myself, or I came home with the girls, So tried to stay a little bit away from all of that.
Well, it's and to have that level of self-control at that age, right? Particularly being overseas and having, you're not living the typical 24-year-old.
Remember, I was brought up a good Catholic girl. And so that really did, believe it or not, had a lot to do with it. Yeah. There was a lot of the Catholic influence there. You always acted like a lady. You never gave a boy, you never looked at a boy, you never talked to boys. It was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with half the population of the world? You never call a boy, you never chase a boy. It was like boys were like, demons on earth. And I was like, God, so it was a little scary at the moment, but I'm good now. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of boys.
I went to Catholic elementary school, so anybody who went to Catholic elementary school will attest, like, it's what she's telling me. And I'm not, it's the truth. It's everything she's saying is the truth,
Yeah.
If you wore, a shirt that I remember one day there was like Jean Day or something like that, and I wore like kind of like a cutoff shirt a little bit, and you're getting pulled off to the side, like, nope, you can't. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, when I was Catholic school, we had uniforms. But after that, my mother pulled me in at the third grade. She pulled me and put my brother and I into public school. Mm-hmm. And we weren't allowed, this is the 60s, early 60s. We as girls weren't allowed to wear pants. There was Pants Day. I think by around like 1967, they came out with Pants Day. And every Friday, girls could wear slacks, not jeans. They were called slacks. Slacks. You could wear slacks, pants. You couldn't wear jeans, but you could wear a nice pair of pants every Friday. The girls, right? Yeah. This is how you grew up. It was you talk about a little about an oppression. After that, it was just now the girls are going to school naked, basically. I don't know if you passed a bus stop recently, but it's like, girl, put some clothes on.
Without question. It's
I think I sound like an old.
The running gag in life is like, is there a pair of shorts to those legs, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so now you've transitioned into a larger entrepreneurial career as well too, and you're the CEO of In Limelight Media,
Yeah.
right? Please explain and talk about that if you can.
Yeah, I love that. When I came home, so I've been home now 25 years from Europe.
Mhm.
And for about 10 years, I took off. I just, I wanted to reintegrate. I was back in with my family, my grandmother, all the things. And I just took some time off because I had worked like since I was 10 years old, like nuts. And so I took some time off. And then, when I turned 61 or 62, I decided that I wanted to start the In the Limelight Media, which was television, a podcast, and a digital magazine. And I did that. I started it all up. And by the way, I started that all up 6 months before. I started like working on the logo 6 months before COVID.
Oh,
So
wow.
I navigated all of that through COVID, growth, and went really well. And then my book was also coming out, so we'll get to that in a sec. But then my mother was in a very bad car accident, and I had to shut everything down. So the magazine was great. I was on, binge networks with, I had my own channel with other people under my, my channel. And then my mom was in a very, very bad car accident. So mom already has chronic COPD, which is a lung condition.
Yes.
In this accident, she broke her sternum and her ribs. So yeah. So for 9 months, my mother had to sleep sitting up. Like I had to cut the meat, like the whole, the whole thing. And I'm still taking my mother. That was in 2022. I had my mother back to the hospital last week, so I'm still taking my mother. Every 2 months, we go to the emergency room for steroids and antibiotics. So I too, again, I had to shut everything down. This is what happens when you are a solopreneur, right? Everybody, when you don't have, I always say, we hear it, in the Limelight Media. Well, we is me, myself, and I.
Right.
It's like me, myself, and I would love to tell you, And so I just started it up again. We're about 4 months in. And, I pulled together my courses, my classes. I'm working on the second book now. So the course is, I have a book on, it's called the Italian Gluten-Free Gastronomy Cookbook. So I give courses on eating gluten-free because I almost died 100 times. And didn't know it was gluten until I found out it was gluten. And then, the Self-Esteem RE-gime has been proposed up at the library. So I'm going to start the courses up there. And the next course, the last course I did was non-toxic cosmetics. So making your own, non-toxic cosmetics, because we're trying to get all the toxin out of our lives, whether that be, whether it be your, your head, your heart, your body, or your spirit, we're trying to get all the toxins out. And now I'm writing my second book, or the book in the series is called Living an Esteemed Life. So that's really exciting. Yeah, I mean, just plotting along over here.
What's crazy is when people talk about, gluten-free, we have some close friends that are, gluten-free. And, with the discovery of how that happened, and a lot of people may not know because it's so mainstream now, it actually occurred during World War II. It was a famine, I believe, in Poland. It was it was a wheat famine, if I'm not mistaken, right? And so when there was a wheat famine, the doctor I can't remember the doctor's name, but it was the kids were in the hospital, so he took care of the sick children. Well, when the bread was removed from the sick children, they suddenly got better, right? And then when bread got reintroduced, when the famine lifted and bread got reintroduced, the kids got sick again. And he put 2 and 2 together, like, oh my goodness, like it's
in Italy, it's pizza, pasta, and pane, right? And bread. So everything basically I was eating was, and what would happen is I would have anaphylactic shocks.
Oh my gosh.
And every time, either rushed to the hospital or I never left home without the EpiPen.
Right.
Which was not an EpiPen. I had to have a syringe with me at all times and this little glass vial that I would have to go find a bathroom, get some tissue paper, because if not, you're cutting your hands.
Oh my gosh.
Open up the vial, get the thing, and then inject myself. Yeah. And only then, because I would become Shrek. I would become one big hive. Oh my God. And the itching was enough to make you want to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. It was so bad. But the real problem was that with an anaphylactic shock, you can also go into shock and it will close up your trachea, right?
You have a heart attack.
Your windpipe or whatever you call it. And so since I didn't want to die, I either got rushed to the hospital or, I just had this with me all the time so that I could inject no matter where I was. Because in Italy, a hospital isn't, always around every corner.
Okay. Wow.
Well, it's not here either.
Right. No. Yeah, well, the crazy part is like, my house is about, there's peanut allergies, egg allergies, and
Oh,
I
wow.
can't even tell you how many EpiPens are located inside
Yeah,
this house.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that's kind of the story, the Italian years, and just loving the television piece, and loving being, I'm also an Italian citizen because I really wanted to become an Italian citizen.
That's amazing.
And so, yeah, it's really great.
I'm going to ask a weird question. Did you ever meet Marvin Hagler? Because he was the famous boxer that moved over to Italy and made films. I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I didn't think I have now.
Okay, he passed away. I'm a huge boxing fan. He moved to Italy after he retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what haven't we discussed about your life that you would love to share on this show? Because I seriously, like, I've had hundreds of guests, and I've never had somebody quite like you on here.
You're so kind. Well, I hope that. I don't know. Wait a minute. I can be taken two ways. I've never had anybody like.
It's a positive. It's all positive.
Hold on. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's 100% positive. 100% positive.
I mean, nothing really. I just wake up every day and do what I love to do. Everything is driven by passion. And, really, I think what really also helps me is, why did you write a book about self-esteem? Yeah. I can't stand to see anybody suffer. Oh, I really can't stand to see anybody suffer. So it was always kind of like everybody's mom or everybody's auntie or everybody's older sister, everybody's best friend, because even when I was younger, it was that way. And I don't know how the words came out of my mouth. I think it was divine providence, actually, that kind of put some words in my mouth that would make people feel better. And there, I'm going to show you the book just a second. So the Self-Esteem Regime. Yeah, thank you. The Self-Esteem Regime came along. This has been on the shelves in Barnes & Noble for the last 5 years, which is
That's
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, 4.5 years. 4.5 years. November will be 5 years. And yeah, it's great because I walk into Barnes & Noble and I pinch myself. It's like Brene Brown, Clarissa Burt, Dr. Deepak Chopra, and Dr. Joe Dispenza all on the same shelf.
Yeah.
And when you talk about a crowning moment, and wait, hold on while I pinch myself, it's one of those kind of things. And I do thank Gary Krebs, who was my literary agent, who helped me throughout the whole project. And he's so hooked up, that next thing I know, I was in Barnes & Noble. It was really one of the crowning moments. The problem was that I no sooner it was supposed to launch on November 21st of 2021. And 2 days before that, I got COVID. Oh. So I completely missed the out the gate promotion of my own book. Yeah. Oh yeah. But what are you going to do? You get sick. So I've made up for it.
Well, I think one of the beautiful things about this conversation is that you interwoven, drive, perseverance, and success, and you've been able to share it with others in a very positive manner as well too. And in the short amount of time that I've talked with you, I don't think that I've heard any negativity, and I know it's always about waking up and being grateful, and you have an absolutely exquisite story to tell. It's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it really is. It really is, even in my heart, and I thank you for saying that. I think it's an amazing story because I know also the back end. I know the times I was curled up in a fetal position. I know the crying jags. I know some of the depressions I've been through. So I also know that there's a whole flip side to the coin, and that it's not always, that's life, isn't it? Right? Absolutely. It's up and down, ebbs and flows, and life is going to life, and life is going to trigger you. So my message is always to make sure that personal development is a priority. It's not one of those things you're going to get to. It's not the book on the nightstand. It's one of those things you must do. It goes into your calendar, just like, I got to get a haircut, got to get my nails done, pedicure, get the dog to the vet, it has to be put into the calendar. And there's, when I was a kid, and then I know we're going long, but we're at 25 minutes. When I was a kid, no computers and no internet, we went to 3 bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Walden Books, and Borders Books. And in the back, Rashid, there was this little section called self-help. And in that little section, there were about 40, maybe 50 books, no more. It wasn't a big section, but it's where I lived. Yeah. It's where I got my guidance, my assistance, the assurance, the help, right, that I needed, because there was nowhere else to go. There was no internet I could run to. Right. I couldn't talk to my parents, because it was a stiff upper lip, and that whole Irish background thing, which I love, but stiff upper lip, and you're a good Catholic girl, and the Catholics, severity and all the things.
Right.
there was nobody I could talk to because everybody was coming to me to get my advice.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I say everybody, I meant, you know, my friends.
Your inner circle. Yeah. I know you did.
You know, and so today there's no excuse. And I will say that section is only in one bookstore now. It's Barnes and Noble. Yeah. And it's now called personal development. And it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, personal development.
No question.
And yeah, and it's not just one little, it's rows upon rows upon rows upon rows of books in the personal development section. There's no excuse. You've got internet, YouTube, courses, classes, you know, libraries. There's like no reason that you can't be working on your betterment every single day.
Well, it's the same thing, right? So like, you know, starting this show and this podcast, and again, I'll be very brief, is that everybody has been empowered to be, there's no, I don't want to say gatekeepers, but like, you know how like if you wanted to be like, you know, I want to be a singer or get a record contract, something like that. Well, if you sing good enough and you post it on the internet, somebody will see it. Now, everybody can't sing, you know, I'm not here advocating everybody's going to get a record deal or be successful, but you don't necessarily have to wait your turn.
I did that too. I got a record deal and had my record on the radio, and it's back there somewhere. Beautiful. What the heck is it? Right. So wait, whoop, back over here. See that?
Yeah.
There? That's the album.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It was so fun.
But of course you did that. But of course you did
it was so fun. Yeah.
You know, but it just goes to show you that, like, to your point with the internet and the digital era now, you can bypass a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily have given you their time. And if you're good and if you're willing to work hard enough, good things can happen for you.
No doubt. Yep, no doubt.
So for the purpose of this show, where can people find you?
Anywhere, really. I mean, ClarissaBurt.com. I'm on all socials except for Snapchat. I don't even know how that works. And so anywhere. You can find me pretty much anywhere on social.
That's absolutely wonderful. I'm honored that you took time out of your busy schedule. This is Clarissa Burt, world traveler, successful entrepreneur, and all-around good human being. Thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thanks so much for your time.
Appreciate you. That was fun.